Good morning, my friends. Welcome. Today, I want to start a new series. It's kind of casual and fun, and I call it Tao for Dummies. The reason I want to do it is because everybody wants to learn about Tao or the way or the path to joyful life. But there are texts and books that make it really complicated. So I'm kind of like learning from the classroom of life. So I want to share with you my experience and my thoughts, my understanding, and hopefully it'll bring some joy into your life. So the way I think is that things happen to us, right? And depending on our perspective, we can either make it a joyful experience or we can make it maybe a little bit frustrating experience. So a lot of times it's how you look at it. It's a glass halfway full, halfway empty kind of scenario. So the way of Tao is basically looking at the glass from a balanced point of view. So when it's Tao, you will hear you want to walk the middle way. So what is a middle way? Middle way is the path of balancing. So let's say if Tao is from the very old Chinese text called the I Ching, and I think you may have heard about it. I Ching means a book of change, right? So we all know our life, the universe, everything is changing from spring to summer to fall to winter. And if you look at the moon, there are 12 phases of the moon. It's constantly changing, right? And so how are we going to adjust to this change is the path, is a Tao. So this book and this philosophy actually teaches us how do you stay in the balance. So if you think about a person who's surfing, even the wave is maybe a sinusoidal wave or up and down, but he or she are able to stand on the surfboard at the tip of the wave, always adjusting with the wave. So in fact, this person is at a standstill. It's almost like no change. So he or she is at the sweet spot. So the path of Tao, the Tao is how do we stay in the sweet spot? How do we see life from the perspective of joyful life, and so we can stay in that sweet spot even though our life is changing up and down, right? So what I do is a lot of times I like to go walk in the morning. So that's my walking meditation. And a lot of times interesting thoughts will come to my mind. And sometimes it's like, oh, yeah, a light bulb turned on. So I want to share with everyone what I understood. So I would like to talk about today, I would like to talk about imperfection or perfection. So I am a admitted perfectionist. So a lot of times I would start a project and don't finish it because I'm like, oh, it's not good enough, or it's not good enough to present. And that's very frustrating, right? So one of my greatest teacher, and he taught me that, hey, it's okay to be imperfect. And when you put it out there and you'll get feedback from people, and then you can make it better. And then it's a constant work to make things better and better, but it's never going to be absolutely perfect, or it's going to be very short time, very transient. So you have just release, don't have to worry about reach perfection, but to try to work on it. So my thought today is that, hey, you know what, imperfection is actually a really good state. So the reason is when you have imperfection, you have the drive or the desire to reach perfection. So this desire and this need is the force of creation. So force of creation is God energy. So we all have God seeding us. So the force of creation, when things are imperfect, you want to make it perfect. So that's the driving force for you to do all your life's work, right? And so a lot of times when we finally reach the spot that our dreams come true, we become very satisfied and we don't want to go anywhere. So everything becomes static. So you do not have the kinetic energy to make things even better. Or to create more. Therefore, we often notice whenever we finally bring things into this perfection or almost perfection, and invariably things will change, and then brings out another desire that we want to create to, make it more perfect or to fulfill that. So that's just the universal energy. That's how universe creates. That's how we create our lives, right? So if you look at the moon, let's say you only have full moon, one day, out of the month, right? And after that, you immediately have the waning gibbous, and then you keep on going, and then you have the new moon, and then finally you reach the full moon, right? So that's just the way universe works. That's the way our life works as well. So the other thing that I want to say is that a lot of Asian philosophy saying that, hey, desire is not good. It should be shunned because desire causes suffering. So you will see monks or people who actually go to the mountain, go become a hermit, and they don't want to see, hear, touch, taste, or feel any, human emotions, because they say, hey, this desire is bad. It causes suffering. So for me not to have suffering, then I need to just release all the desires, right? So for me, though, I think it's a little bit taken out of context, because I think desire is good. Desire is a driving force of the universe. It's a creation force. It is the attachment that is not good. So if you have attachment towards your outcome, then you will have expectations. And when the outcome does not meet your expectation, then you will have disappointments, you will have sadness, you will have anger, right? So those are causing the suffering. So for example, if you help somebody out, however you have a attachment to it, saying, hey, I'm helping you, someday you will be able to help me. And then when that expectation does not come to pass, then you will feel angry, or you will feel taken advantage of. So, however, if I do give unconditional love, I give everything freely. So whenever that person does not give me back, I say, hey, it's okay, I give it freely. But when that person actually repay me or give me something back in return, I'm like, I'm so excited, I'm surprised, and I'm pleasant surprised. I'm like, okay, great, cream on top of the cake, So for me, it's like that. So it's all a different perspective. So if you can release attachment to the outcome, then you are free. Okay, so let's say if we as a parents, sometimes we want our children to achieve and all that, and sometimes we have those almost really high goals for the children, right? And whenever they don't meet that, we get disappointed, and sometimes we really discourage them, make them feel bad. However, if we do our best as parents in teaching them and foster them, but we leave the outcome to the universe, and then whatever happens, we know it's going to turn out good, and then we don't have that expectation that they will have come back and to take care of us in our old age. And then you set them free, and whenever they actually do something really nice, you are really happy, right? So that's my thinking on the attachment and detachment. So in conclusion, and I think, imperfection is actually a very good state, because it gives you the connect energy, the God energy of creation to go for your goals. But you will, once you reach your goal, just expect it's going to change again, and then you have a new desire. So it's keep on creating. That's what our life's about. And the other thing is, whenever you have desire, try to not have attachment to the outcome, and that kind of helps you with not have suffering, but have joyful outcome. And so that's my 2 cents for today, and I will see you soon, and thank you for subscribing and supporting, and please provide me feedback, what you think, and what kind of things do you want to hear next. And if you can push the little bell over there, it'll notify you when my next video comes. I really appreciate you. Thank you.